Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Bokonjre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Ooh. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia.
All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Hello, it's another Sunday. Welcome to On Point, on Focus on Liberia. Today is going to be an exciting day. We're actually going to see if we can pull a 3-hour show or not. We have a lot of information to give you. Today, I have the pleasure of having as my guest on our first hour, Mr. Hassan Fadiga, law enforcement professional, former deputy director of operations for the LDEA. Hassan, how are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, Mike, I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, time is a little fast spent, so just gonna get into it. There's a lot that has been going on in Liberia concerning the drug epidemic. We saw an arrest at the airport of a lady named Quita, and the drugs that she had brought in. We also saw a young kid during the recent July 17th protest, talking about he was a drug dealer and that the Boyka government was spoiling his drug business. And then to map that out, a group of women, you know, when the women get behind something, right? A group of women have come out and they have designated August 7th as the day for them to march to the capital and plead with their lawmakers to do more concerning the drug epidemic. So we thought to bring on somebody who has a first-hand experience on that issue. And today Hassan has agreed to join us. And we'll be talking about that for the next 45 minutes or so. So Hassan, first, why don't you introduce yourself to the people and tell a little bit about your enforcement background?
Well, my name Hassan Fadiga. Um, I've had extensive experience in law enforcement. So I started as a drug abuse treatment specialist, and then I also work as a federal agent intelligence analyst for over 9 years with the United States Department of Justice. So I also work in the private security sector in Maryland. for about 4 years before assuming the role as a law enforcement professional. I've had several trainings at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Academy and also at the Police Academy in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
Okay.
I
We're
hold
having
up.
a little bit of a feedback, but hopefully we'll work our way through that.
Yeah, is it clear? Yeah, I hold up. Yeah, so I started my law enforcement career. I earned my associate science degree in law enforcement and criminal justice. I also hold a Bachelor of Science degree in police science and security management and a Master of Art degree in forensic psychology and human services. In human services. So I've had several certificates in evidence recovery training and other law enforcement expertise. So that's my background with respect to law enforcement.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a little grinding, but if you speak up, I think we can overcome it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure it's coming from you. You know, we have
Is it coming from me?
no. Because I'm hearing it on myself too. So we'll see how it is. Okay.
Okay. All right.
We'll work through it. Um. Now, you were appointed. At the LDEA.
Yeah.
I really want to know, like, going in, what were your expectations?
My expectation was I did.
Okay. We'll hold on. We'll wait for you. So yeah, so we're speaking with Hassan Fadiga, just on the drug epidemic in Liberia. What we're hoping to do was to get a first-hand knowledge on that. He's just interacting with somebody. He will be back with us here in a few seconds. Okay. But we're gonna get this information. We're gonna talk about. There's a lot that we're hearing, but we want to hear the accuracy of it. Okay,
Sorry.
are you back with us?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Oh no,
Go
that's
ahead. What was
that's
the
totally
question
fine.
again?
So what were your expectations going into this environment, into this job, into the scenario of this whole thing?
Mike, to be frank, I was excited about going to serve in Liberia, but what I saw in Liberia, it was not what I anticipated. I will tell you this, and I'll be honest with you. When I accepted the position, at first I didn't know what to expect. I just went in. I'd be like, it's an opportunity for me to serve my country, give back, what I've learned, in a way. But when I went there, I was still debating. I didn't resign from my job. I was just debating on whether I should accept the job or whether I shouldn't accept the job. Having served for about 2 months and seeing firsthand the devastating effect of drug, I cried, especially independence building. I couldn't believe that people were living the way I saw them living in Liberia in 2024. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because I was documenting as I go along. I was documenting some of the things. Then I would go back and watch the video. And it was when I made that conscious decision, that I was going to stay in Liberia, I was going to serve, and I was going to help to fight drug crime. I'm not hearing you, Mike. I'm not hearing you.
Okay, you mentioned. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
You,
you.
you mentioned the Pennant building, and I want to play a clip here, and then you can maybe elaborate on that a little bit afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody sleep here when it reads. This was good. In this building, housing for 600, more than 650 people.
639.
639. See where they sleep when it reads. Everybody remain to that position. There, that's your room.
That's how we
Nobody catch it.
Ela levou a quietinha por essa aí, ó.
We'll probably beef I won't come back, man. When you want to take beef. Yeah, let's go on. Okay, ready? Look like sit there,
Wow. Okay, Hassan, tell me a little bit about that building. Is that the building you're talking about?
Yeah, okay. So the Penance building, let me tell you about the Penance building. The Penance building is a building that is on, I think, Gurney, where they have the graveyard.
Okay, down
So,
Central Street, yeah?
yes,
Okay,
Street graveyard. The
yeah.
Penance building, the guys that you saw me walking with, they are from the European Union. One of them is a Dennis George, and the other one is someone who's it was his bodyguard. And and hold on.
Okay. All right, we'll continue the clip until we get Hassan back on.
Stay on the wall, stay on the wall. Stay on the wall. Gentlemen, how you doing? I told you guys I was going to come like a fellowship with your but today I brought our international partner to also help our fellowship with you guys. Oh, okay? Yes. What's up with that?
Hello?
Okay, you're back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Yeah, you were talking about this building.
So the panels building, those guys have been coming to Liberia, especially during the WIA administration, and they try to get a first-hand view of the drug situation in Liberia, but they couldn't go to this area because it was a no-go zone area. They told them that it was dangerous and nobody gone there. So I think I was the first, according to the guys down there, the people that reside there. I was the first director, officials to enter that penance building to walk there because it's a dangerous area that nobody go. But I decided to use a different approach to fighting drug crime. So our approach was simple. We go after the drug dealers, and then we will empathize and build rapport with the drug user. So I will go there, I will purchase the food around there, I will feed them, and then we arrest the drug dealer. We gotta have our intelligence officer that were there. We identify those drug dealers, we arrest them and hold them accountable. So those were some of the things that we were involved with.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. How did drug getting into the country?
The drug situation in Liberia is complicated. The reason it is complicated is because drug is a means of economic sustenance for a lot of people. You know, Liberia, a lot of people are unemployed. So people casually sell drug to survive. How
Wow.
is it getting into the country? It is getting the country through different means. The RRA is a hub. The Freeport of Monrovia, Bull Waterside, especially Bull Waterside, is a hot zone. It's very hot. A lot of drugs come through Bull Waterside, the Ivorian border, and they come through the Kinu from the Grand Bassel side, Riverside side. They bring it from Ghana. They bring it from Europe. They bring it from
So so
different countries.
what are you trying to tell me? Because usually when we hear drug dealer, we think about some hardened criminal, you know, drug czar. But what you are telling us is that this whole drug trade is not just these people that come up, my Mary, and everybody. They simply
Yes,
study the thing.
they're selling drugs. They're selling, and it will interest you to know that they're selling the drug. They're making it in eggnog. They're making it in milk candy. They're putting it in soup, in shisha, everything in our schools. They are selling drugs. what is more concerning right now, with the right now we have this thing, the passage of the new marijuana bill in America, with a lot of states have legalized the marijuana thing.
Yeah.
The marijuana from the US is more strong, and that's the one they are importing in Liberia heavily. They call it Lao. It's very expensive. Just little knockers around $20. Most of the little college girls, little girls, that's the gateway drug. That's where they are That's why they are experimenting with right now. And a lot of them, they're coming in some of the cars that they are shipping in. They put it in the tires. They've been shipping it to Liberia a lot. People are not paying attention to that. Then we have obviously the Kush, which is the cheaper one. It mixed with fentanyl, the human bones, and all kind of stuff. And then we have powder cocaine, we have crack. Every dangerous drug known to man is in Liberia, my brother. Every
Wow.
dangerous drug known to man is in Liberia and is there like candy. That's the scary thing. That's what troubles me a lot.
Wow. Okay, I know you talk about like gateway drugs and stuff like that. First, let's talk about the ghettos. But before we do, you mentioned your approach, and I want to show this video, and then you can speak a little bit more about your approach, especially to the ghettos. Okay.
Go there, go there. I bring it in, go there. Go there. Yeah, probably.
See, I think what I'm just going to pass me. I think that one I money out there right now.
One of the agent coming to see it better in the ghetto.
Everything was this. Everything. I get reminded when I'm fine.
Sad.
Every family has been affected.
Oh, that was the notorious, and that era was the notorious Zimbabwe ghetto.
Zimbabwe. Okay.
Yeah,
And what
so
was
it
going
has
on there?
about
Like, what are you
270.
giving them?
So what I usually do, instead of cooking food and preparing food, what I usually do, around the area, people sell food there. So I go there and I purchase the food around that area, and then I serve it to the disadvantaged you or those guys that are on drug. Some of them barely have one meal a day. So that's the way we that's how we the approach we use to build rapport with them. Before they would go there, the other people will go there, run behind them, beat the crap out of them, take whatever and arrest them. So our approach was a little bit different. Until we can get into a rehabilitation center, we try to ensure that they are at a specific location that we can be. Anytime we need them, we can be able to get them. And then we try to build rapport to understand the situation and try to work towards putting them into rehab. Because I think the government is working on some rehabilitation facility in Bentor in another area. So we're trying to keep them or restrict them to that location, feed them, build rapport with them, document them. Obviously, we documented a lot of them and prepare them for rehab for when the government is ready for the rehabilitation.
Okay. Now, a lot of these communities are very close to or in the middle of normal people living.
Residential area.
Tell me the impact of that, man. Crime,
Oh,
security, just
it's hard. They go in the community, they terrorize the community, they steal people food. Some of them even steal people food from the fire. They take copper. They just want they get their hand on anything to sell it, to feed their addiction. And some of them become real violent in doing that too. That's a scary thing. That's why we must do everything to reduce the impact of drug in our country, or else nobody is safe in our country. And when you look at the statistic, it's very alarming. You know that it's very, very alarming. That's why I keep speaking about it. That's why I keep telling our policymakers that we need to do something to ensure that this drug situation is under control. The window of opportunity, Mike, that we have right now is probably 5 to 10 years, given our population of 2.9, and if everything remains steady, we probably have 5 to 10 years to really get it out of control, or else it would take a miracle
Wow.
to solve this crisis.
Okay, you talk about, you mentioned, just college girls. People are young, they are dumb. And we usually hear about the ghettos, we hear about the zogos. Let's talk about the clean clothes morning. But they are consuming drugs. They are purchasing and they are consuming drugs. They just haven't gotten to that point yet. Talk about those people. What? I mean, I'm sure they are there. How did you guys encounter those?
So what they usually do, they usually have the supplier. The suppliers will take the drug to them. Sometimes they might be around the vicinity where we are conducting raid, and we might pick them up. But given the fact that some of them don't have huge quantity of drug on there, so what we do, we just profile them and then let them go. Our main approach, our main focus was on the seller, the drug dealers.
Yeah, yeah.
One of them off the street, so we're more focused on them.
Wow. Okay. Um, let's talk about. Well, before we talk about the funny, I want to ask you. You said we have a window of opportunity here. How can we win this fight? What I mean, like, what, based on your experience, your first-hand knowledge, your law enforcement experience, how do we begin this fight, and what do we need to focus on?
We can win the fight. First, there should be political will. Our policy makers should have the political will to do something about this drug crisis. The first thing we need to do is we need funding. We need funding for the drug enforcement agency. Drug is a lucrative business. You cannot have agent making $10, $90, $100, and expect to win the war on drugs. And it dealing with, with a situation that was millions. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
It just cannot happen. One. Number two, we must ensure that people are held accountable for their action. People are held accountable. The third time, the third thing here is we hold on.
Okay, no problem. We'll pause for a second here,
More
and we'll
than
look at the
270 disadvantaged youth who are struggling with drug addiction. As part of our
Hello,
community
hello.
engagement,
You back?
we yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, you were talking
Yes,
about
so the
funding.
question was, how can we solve the problem? The
Yes,
first
how
thing
can
here,
we
we
move
need a
forward?
comprehensive treatment plan for
Yeah,
for for rehabilitation plan for drug. We have laws. We have good laws on the book. The new law, the revised drug law of 2023. There's a full feature component to it. It's non-biddable. The law is good. We have a very good drug law.
okay.
We need strong enforcement mechanism. We need to train our officers. We have close to maybe 400 to 500 officers that are on payroll. Of that number, probably only 144 are gone through basic law enforcement training.
Wow.
Most of them, they are poorly trained. They are poorly educated. Some of them cannot even write fitting police report.
Yeah,
So they need adequate training. They need logistic. We don't have logistic. Even the gloves, PPE, personal protective equipment that they use on the street, they don't have it. We need firearms. We need lethal and non-lethal weapon. You need different logistic. We need money. We need funding. For example, even intelligent. Largely, the drug trade is intelligent driven. We need to be able to put people on the streets We need to be able to feed them, pay them. There's so many things that we need to do, and we haven't even started yet.
Okay. All right. I want. I'm trying to call it, but I want for you to throw a number out there.
Hmm.
Say if someone were to come to you and say, Hassan, what would be your satisfying budget for drug enforcement? Just put a number out there, throw a number out there,
So,
ballpark. I will
it
not
was
hold you
good.
to it. I promise you.
It was good you asked that question. So, for the ballpark, this is it. So, I I wrote a draft budget for the DA for last when we got in. So I think I have an insight into what I would love for the budget to be like. I think we can start with close to 26 million.
Okay. Okay.
26 million. The reason here is the minimum pay wage that I recommend is 400
Okay.
for officers, and then special agent in charge, sector head, they go up to 1,000, and then college graduate too will go up to 800 and something. The minimum should be at least 400,
So
and then
encourage
we
more
should
guys to go to
increase.
college. Okay.
Yeah, and then we should increase the number from that 500 to at least 2,000 men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2,000.
Let me ask you, did you guys ever seek any outside funding while you were there?
Yeah, yeah,
How did it
yeah.
go?
Yeah, it went well. We signed a memorandum of understanding with a group from the European Union. They had
Okay.
20 million. I just needed to fill out some 21-page document and put everything for us to be able to start.
Okay. Okay. So there is an active
Yeah, yeah, we can,
effort
we can,
to
we
seek
can, we can,
outside
we can.
funding.
Hmm.
Yeah, my man. Because when I see the DEA here, the white men can be equipped. I see somebody telling here the Americans and anything like
Our European Union partner, they were waiting to fund that. We signed the Director General at that time, and Director Kuma. He signed a memorandum of understanding with them. I was supposed to do the paperwork on our side, and I was working it before the unfortunate incident at the DEA. So there were things where we were we could get funding from the UNODC, the INL, and then other organizations, especially in the European Union, they were willing to provide funding.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, I was trying not to hold you too long, but I need for you to help us with this part, right?
Yeah, yeah. Please,
I want
I'm a
for you
little
to
bit
give.
distracted because there's a situation of friend that is having a crisis that I'm trying to help. So I got to
Okay.
be monitoring. That's why you see me cutting off and going
No
back
problem.
and
No
back
problem.
and
We
forth.
appreciate you making the time, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate you making the time. What's your advice when it comes to law enforcement? What's your advice to the Liberian law enforcement right now concerning this?
Look, working in Liberia is a complicated place. I'll give you an example before I go to for you to have an insight into what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
There was a drug seizure at the Royal International Airport a week ago, and the lady named Quitak pop up, and there's a video of that. The young man, the agent that made that discovery, his name is Sheriff. I'm not gonna call his first name. That
No problem.
agent, I recommended him for that position as a the operation at the airport.
Mhm.
When I went to the airport, I got several complaints about him. Uh, from the LRA, the immigration, and even the airport management.
Mhm.
He not sort of be there. He causing people. He doing this and doing that. I spoke with him and I watched everything that went on there. What I did not hear any of them telling me that this young man was not doing his job and he was doing something. They only say he rude and he don't want to work with the people and they were causing things. It tells you the mindset of Liberia and Liberians. Whenever you try to do the right thing, they want you out. I saw it because the intel this young man gave me at that time and some other things that they were credible. I knew that he was genuine, and I insisted that he stays in that airport because he was going to provide us with result. You know, I'm not gonna go into it too much before
Yeah.
I divorce
No,
all
no
specific
problem. No
stuff.
problem.
So
But you,
I will get past. But with respect to my advice to law enforcement,
yeah,
we need to tap into our brain minds. We need to tap into people that want to do the job. We need to be able to spot those talent and place them to the right place. We shouldn't bring people on that we feel comfortable with or people that we think we agree with almost all the time. We need to hold our officers accountable when they behave unprofessionally. They need to be reprimanded. If it is severe, they need to be terminated and prosecuted. If they are doing good, they need to be rewarded.
makes
They need to
sense.
be nourished.
Makes
We
sense.
need to increase the salary of our law enforcement personnel, and we need to provide them with basic training. Most of the guys they don't train in America. Every year we do annual refresher training course. That's why I haven't shot gun in probably a year or so. But you put me in front gun, I will shoot because I've been doing it for 9 years. You know, 9 years. Every year you have to requalify. So I've been doing it. We have to be able to train our people. Most of these skills, they are perishable skills that need to be refreshed every
Yeah.
year. We need to train our people. We need to provide them with the tools necessary for them to do the job.
Since we were talking about law enforcement, we usually saw that they will confiscate the drugs, and then they will go to burn or destroy the drugs, incinerate the drugs of some kind. What is that process like? Is that what a word you guys can use? I forgot it. And
Drugs,
when you
they,
pass
they,
it
they
from
got
one to
drugs,
another, you
they got
know,
drugs or
hmm
recycle.
huh? No, when like Chino come in
Oh,
or
chain
Chino
of custody,
Chino
chain of custody.
custody, Chino custody. That's what I'm looking for. Is this how tight is this, or do somebody think it gets you know what I mean? Do somebody think they get lost along the way?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
they get recycled. Unfortunately, they get sold on the streets.
Yeah. So that's where the whole training and the pay and everything come in.
Look, you cannot, you need to pay the people in charge of fighting drug crime. You need to pay them. It's simple. You just have to pay them. America spend more than $1 trillion, and they're still spending money on the war on drugs,
Yeah.
and we still struggling with it. What more about poor country with poor health facility and very corrupt?
Um. What advice would you give parents in Liberia?
I have a friend in Liberia, a childhood friend. We grew up together. She had to abandon her job as a nurse, registered nurse in Liberia, to be a full-time parent for her kids until they finish with high school. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they probably in the UK right now going to school before she went back to work. She had to make that sacrifice to keep an eye on her kids.
Wow.
My advice to parents: pay attention to your children. Pay attention by monitoring who they hang out with, monitoring where they go. Have a conversation with them about these drugs. Show them pictures. Show them things. If possible, take them to some of those ghetto. Ask somebody to take them there. Let them see for the first hand. Those ones that are just coming here, let them see the devastating effect of drug firsthand. Have that kitchen or dining room conversation with your kids. Don't shy away from it. Ensure that your kids are not in an abusive environment, and just be respectful of your kids, but have a conversation with your children about the drug situation. It's very important.
Okay. All right, man. And what advice would you give the young people, the kids out there?
Stay away from drugs. Drug is that dark hole. When you get into it, it will take a miracle or professional help for you to get away. Most people that get hooked up on drug, it takes a miracle for you to recover. You're either gonna die of that addiction or you're gonna get seriously hurt. You become entrapped, you become imprisoned in your own body. It's a horrible feeling to be in an addict. The disease is so terrible that it messes with you in different ways. To feed your addiction, you have to steal. You have to sell your body. You have to do things that normally you wouldn't dare do if you were normal. You have to sell your things, your valuable. You have to dishonor your family, yourself. It's a horrible thing that I will advise anybody, don't try it. Just don't try it. Don't even experiment it. If you see it in one angle, run to the opposite angle. Don't even go near it. Don't even think about it. Stay clear away from drugs. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Your life is gonna be a living hell until you leave this world. Don't try it.
Wow. Okay. Those are strong words coming from the former deputy director, right?
Yeah,
Of
Deputy Director General for
LDA.
Operations.
Yeah, for operations at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency in Liberia. Um, so Hassan, thank you so much for joining us. I will give you a few minutes here just to give a closing. You know, on where you see Liberia going. And just kind of wrap things up. But I just wanted to personally thank you for taking the time out. I know I caught you on a very busy day, but I'm
Yeah,
I'm
take it.
glad you
Is the
took
same?
the time.
Is it one of the things I won't go in detail. One of the same drug situation I'm
Okay.
trying to. I came to New York for to work. I'm working on
Awesome.
on
So
on
yeah,
on,
so
on
there's a
drug.
fight. There's a worldwide fight, and we got to fight
Yeah,
ours. Other countries are so interested, not so, but so focused on their own. That we got to focus on ours. We
Michael,
can't wait
I
for
can
them.
tell you. I can tell you this, Morris. What I saw in Liberia, I cringed. People, I saw a lot of women these few days posting something about me. It's not about me. The fight against drugs, it was a collective effort, and I just happened to be part of that effort. And as director for operation, I was practically leading that fight. People posting something about me. I'm not interested in going back to the DEA. I know I see a lot of posts with these women, saying the president should send me back. I feel humble. I feel happy, and I feel proud that people recognize my effort, in a short time. I
Yeah.
don't want to go back to DEA. I'm not looking for a job. When you hear me advocating, you hear me speaking up, it's because as a professional, as someone that have witnessed the the drug, crisis firsthand,
Yeah.
as someone that have the experience and know where we are heading, it troubles me. I don't want to live here. You and I, we know here. We've been here
Oh,
forever.
you know.
I want to move, return to Liberia. I want to live quietly on the beach somewhere in Grand Bassa or
Yeah.
in Cape Mount or somewhere. I want to live free, enjoy my life, the remainder of my life. I don't want to do it in the US. What I saw in Liberia is concerning. Drug has taken over everywhere in our country. You go on a gold mine, these guys are digging gold and selling gold for drugs. You go to the Fontaine town, the fishery, they are
Mhm.
fishing and bringing the fish and trading it for drugs. Women are selling their body for drugs. They are stealing, they are killing
So what you
and
trying to tell me?
robbing for drugs.
What we see in Monrovia is being replicated all over the country.
What? Go to Bone County. They are growing. Bone County is one of the leading producers of the marijuana. They are growing it there. They are growing it in Nima. They're growing it in Lofa. That's the main focus point. Sierra Leone, we need to do something. But the Bow Water side border is crazy. The amount of drugs that come from the Bow Water side. brother. I cannot stress it enough. We have a serious problem. You go to Grand Bassa County right now. Go to Grand Gillette. Ask somebody that lives in Grand Gillette. Then they tell you the kid. Look, Liberia has a youthful population, and that's the scary thing. Most of the kids, they are not doing anything. We need to find something for our youth to be doing. Look, look. Every time I talk, I don't even know how to scream again about this drug thing because what I'm seeing right now, brother, there will come a time that people will not even be able to walk on the street freely in Monrovia.
Wow.
So if we think that because we live in a structural hierarchy society, we as elite or people that can afford it, we live in our little bubble, that it's not going to affect us, it's not going to affect our kids. Well, newsflash, you got it wrong. Drugs in JJ Rowers, drugs in CWA, drugs
Wow.
in COVID,
Wow.
drugs is everywhere in that freaking country.
Wow.
It's there. You might walk from your house, you might get on the street, and somebody might stab you for $5, $100. Nobody is safe if we cannot get our youth in this drug situation under control. There's a way, but again, it will require political will, not just lip service, political will. We need to spend money now to avoid the crisis that will happen in the future. Right now, it's getting bad. Every family in Liberia, look, you see these women that are talking, they have been crying in silence, and now they're just coming up. Every family in Liberia has been affected by this drug thing. Some people, they are so ashamed and they don't want to talk about it. They cry in silence. Rich people, poor people, everybody, they have been doing it. So it's something that every Liberian, every well-meaning Liberian, every well-intentioned Liberian need to focus on, and we need to fight it hands on.
Wow.
Well,
Thank you so much. Yeah.
let me let you go.
Thank you so much.
Let me let
Thank
you
you so
go, my
much,
man. Call
Hassan.
me anytime, man. I wish I was a little bit calm, but I
No,
have a lot of
give
things,
us more than we wanted. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
brother.
Hassan.
All
Thank you
right,
so
good
much.
luck, brother. All right.
All right. All right. You had Mr. Hassan Fadiga, law enforcement professional, former deputy director for operations at the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency. You saw him come on and talk about the drug epidemic in Liberia. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. A lot of us here that are planning, are hopeful and planning to move back to Liberia. We talk about corruption. We talk about healthcare. We talk about education. You know, sometimes we talk about security. But the one thing that we almost never talk about is the drug problem. It's the drug problem. And with how do we move, how do we go back home and plan to live in security and prosperity. The smaller money we now work for to kind of just enjoy it for the rest of our life. Said at that point in time, I said my retirement plan is to pay my little Congo on the St. John River, and just hide the young bastard get beating my dumb up. That is my retirement plan. I don't get no other retirement plan beside that one. But how do I do that? When Zoko right behind my heart there, yeah. So this is what it is, man. They hopefully we'll be able to get the I've been speaking with several of the organizers of the August 7 protest, or not protest, of the August 7 march. They made it very clear to me that it's a march, it's not a protest. So when I slip or tongue, please, please correct me. The August 7 march, hopefully we can get them on next week, before the march, and that they can speak on exactly what they're hoping to achieve here. I have not heard anything, even though I've reached out to several people here in the US, the diaspora, on what are we going to do. We who can pay a plane ticket to go march, what are we going to do on our part? Hopefully we can put something together here as a plan. But I'd like to welcome several other gentlemen to the platform. Mr. Gibbon, all the way out there in the Florida. How are you doing,
Yes,
sir?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, young man?
I am doing great. I am doing great on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon in Minnesota. J. Victor Nangwi, how are you doing, sir?
Mike, what's up, man? Jerome, how you doing? It's good to be with you guys. And yeah, it's beautiful here also in southern New Jersey. It's not that hot, it's not cold at all, so it's just beautiful weather. Great interview, Mike. You did a wonderful job. Thanks to you. Thanks to the former director for coming on. Obviously, he was in the middle of some other thing, and yet,
Yeah.
yeah, he made time to talk to us and throw some light on the problem that we're faced with. So, I'm grateful to him. Thanks to the platform also for providing us with the opportunity to come here and talk to our people. And let me welcome our audience. Thanks for joining us. Please share the show.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Michael, I also want to congratulate you for the show, man. And
Who talking that spirit?
I like what you did and the
Show
insight that we
yourself.
got.
Show yourself. Who talking?
the,
Show
That
the
yourself.
spirit that
insight the insight we got into this whole drug pandemic,
wow.
but what is our attitude towards it? Do we
Yes.
hate it? Or because besides you or what we've done here is this is not a topic that is being discussed that much. But if we want people to vote for us, if we want people to take after from us, because I mean, even though I look this cute, but I'm in my 50s, right?
But
So
who
we're going to
talking?
leave.
Who
So
talking?
what do we what can we do if the youth is rotten?
Who talking?
We cannot leave the country with them. This is serious. But so are we giving this whole drug pandemic the urgency it deserves, or are we talking the next election 2029? But thank you for shedding light on this.
Who talking?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Who talking?
The best in the business.
I'm looking
All
at.
right.
I'm looking at.
No, I was giving Michael technical support.
Oh, okay. So you were
Thank you
hiding
so much.
somewhere.
I appreciate it.
Wait,
It allowed me to actually focus on the interview and the questions and the interaction. So it really freed me up. So thank you so much for sticking around and giving me that support. I appreciate it, sir. Um,
I, I'm,
Mr. Eastman,
yeah.
how
I'm
are
I'm
you doing this
I'm
Sunday?
glad we took the torch just now to highlight the drug situation in Liberia. It's unfortunate that we didn't have maybe the gender minister or the health people that will be able to categorically show how this drug uh, proliferation has affected us. We sometimes it's better to see the numbers, and it's better to see the so we can know the extent of this. This is just what you said. If we're not making sure that our youth, those future leaders, the people who are going to take over the country, if we're not preparing them, then we're not doing anything. We're setting up ourselves for failure. And this is how we also can tell if any administration is serious. You will know how much they budget toward these people, these youth, because they are the ones that will um, bring the next generation Liberia to life. And if they are not prepared, they don't have the requisite schooling, they don't have the requisite exposure, and they're not disciplined. They've been malaffected by drugs. Then we're setting our country up for a takeover, and people who are more capable will end up taking over the country. So this is not no joke. I think it should be touted by every administration until we bring it under wraps. There's a criminal aspect of this, but there's also a social aspect of this, and that is what we need to be very, very wary of, because that is the future of Liberia.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for weighing in there, Mr. Eastman. To our audience out there, thank you for joining us. This is On Point Focus on Liberia. This is Sunday, and you know this is what we do on Sundays. Shortly here, we're expected to have the representative of District, is that District 7? Yes, District 7, Nima County, Chairman
Yes,
Musa,
District 7. Yeah.
District 7, Nima County Representative Honorable Musa Hassan Bilete, who will be joining us here shortly, where we will discuss we'll have more discussions on the drug epidemic in Liberia. We'll have a personal approach, and then we'll also talk about you know what he plans on doing as a representative. Once he gets back to session there concerning this. So a few minutes here we'll be joining him. So please stand and stick with us. Share the show, please. Don't be selfish now. Share the show, and we'll definitely get more to you. Um, Mr. Nangbe, um, sometimes, okay, I was in Liberia during the war, you know, and we saw drugs during the war, especially those little kids that they used to drug, before they go out to fight. But we never saw it on this scale, and you think that things would be improving, but it's almost like things are sliding downward. The further we get away from the war. I don't get it. I don't understand that.
Yeah, Mike. I think it doesn't really seem that way. I think the numbers are bearing that out. I think the addiction, use of drugs, I think it's become more prevalent. What I wish the director would have spoken to too. Uh, you know, I don't know if all of these people out in the streets are all drug. I really believe that there may be some of those people who are going through some mental stress. But the UN has indicated that about 1 million of our compatriots, or a little
Hmm.
over 20, yeah, about 20%, or a little over 1 million of our 5 million are addicted to substance. That is very concerning. That's very concerning for a country of 5 million to have 1 million addicts. That is concerning. I also I worry that guys like himself, who are very much needed right now, uh, and A.B. Kroman, the both of them managed to cancel out themselves. To what extent now they'll be able to come in and still help?
Hmm.
I don't know. Very unfortunate. The what happened to them at the agency, but we need all the help. And then, of course, he spoke to the political will that this will require. I mean, I think we talked about this yesterday morning, and we're talking about the budget will speak to the priorities of the government.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
yeah, the funding that is being allocated for the LDEA is a pittance. We all know that compared to where some of the money goes. 88% goes to benefits and salaries. Yeah. So right now our priorities are upside down. But he rightly said that what is required, compared to what the agency is being given now is like night and day. So the support is necessary. I don't want to be long-winded, but we talked about some of the things that could be done. A halfway house. Some of these people where they get off the streets, they are fed, and then they're detoxed, and those some of them may need treatment.
Oh,
Giving some kind
yeah.
of medication that will kind of reduce their craving for
Yeah.
this substance.
Methadone.
Yeah, but you can't do that when they're out in the streets.
No, no, no. That's a quick overdose right there.
Yeah, but I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to welcome Elvis Morris to the platform. Elvis, we're talking about the first half of the program there of my interview with the former deputy director for operations of the LDEA, Hassan Fatiga, and just some of the insights he gave us. Some really really scary stuff. And the thing is, a lot of times we focus on Monrovia, but he said everywhere in the country, Lofa, Bone, Grand Jita, Maryland, there is a pandemic there when it comes to drugs. I mean, at this point, do we build schools or do we build rehab centers?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Padmore, and thank you for having me. Hello to the other panelists. Look, I think you're right. This drug issue is a issue that's personal for most of us. I think Mr. Fadiga said it. And that's why we caution them. I think him and his brother was always talking about how President Weah was the one who was bringing drug in the country. And we always said that was irresponsible because this government now, we can't make the same claim that they're bringing drug in, in the country. Of course not. I have a nephew from my sister who passed away at the age of 19 because he was a drug addict. I have a friend who I grew up with in Congo Town. Came from a great family, one of the well-known, prominent, Congo families in Congo Town. He's on drugs. His dad was telling me not to even contact him because he's in such a bad state. I'm from a family who's a pastor, so this is very close to us. Most of us, may have been affected, by drugs in the country. But if anybody know, I'm not a psychotherapist or analyst, but the root causes of drugs is sometimes, stemming from childhood or sometimes from trauma. Most of these guys are, former, rebel leaders or people who fought during the war, young kids who are not parented well, people who are disheartened by the economic, condition in the country. So a lot of undertones of drug use is based on how the country is ran in our past. Two things that we have to address. The economy has to do better. We have to hire more young people. That's the first thing. And of course, we have to try to reconcile and bring to bring closure to our war. A lot of people are traumatized from it. If they didn't fight in the war, they saw their parents get killed. They saw their close family members get killed, and they became destitute after the war. They had no hope, and they're dealing with that trauma of the war. So it's a psychological thing that's really killing our young people in the country, and it's also an economic depression that's really making them to lose hope and try to find some solace in drug that will give them some little form of euphoria, temporary euphoria. So I mean, I don't understand it. We're buying $1 million cars, but we're not diverting that money to rehabilitation centers. So, Mr. Padmore, I get it. I think that the interview you did an excellent job. I was really intrigued in it. That's why I really wanted to come on because this is something that's close to me. I'm sure it's close to most of us on the panel. But what is the government doing to really show a concerted effort and just to not to politicize it, but there's the fighting guy himself who seems to really have care about this issue. Instead of really going in and doing excellent work, what did he do? He got fired because he was fighting and being abrasive with his boss. The boss himself is being accused of helping drug dealers. So the president Boycott made the right decision. Who he put in that delicate position? I don't think he did. So we just kind of stuck now. We just got to deal with the pains and the suffering of our people back home, some of our family members and our friends who are stuck on drugs. Thank you.
Let me
Okay.
chime. Let me chime
Yeah,
in.
Mr. Damien, I had a question for you there.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about law enforcement. We talked about parents. We talked about the youth themselves. One thing we didn't get into, and we just because he was a little distracted was government or lawmakers in the budget. You know, we haven't. I mean, like, what's your take on it when it comes to what lawmakers, in the government, when it comes to focus on this issue?
I think when I came from Liberia in February, I discussed the conversation between me and some of the ambassadors there. Uh, and if you listen keenly, basically there was if some of the statement was were condescending, but rightfully so. They are saying the present administration has no clue about drugs, the rehabilitation, and how it happens. They had no clue. In fact, one of the deputies told me, he said some of the things that we're talking about was encampment to build rehabilitation camp all over the country. And the folks that were supposed to fund them told them to provide the data that this model still works.
Hmm.
The model that they are looking at is in-home treatment. We want these kids to go home to their regular families where we will send the therapist. So it become a holistic family therapy, not just take the group of guys, take them to Basa or Grand Gita for 6 week detox and then put them right back in the community. That's not what they are interested in. But the administration was looking at it.
Yeah, welcome in.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you cut out me off?
Yeah, I got him off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They were looking at it in the form of a job creation where they would build the rehabilitations around maybe in 15 counties, and they would be able to hire maybe 5 to 10,000 folks. But the folks were they are looking at the outcome. Are we to put money in building the warehouses where you're going to warehouse these kids, or do we take them home, help the family, rehabilitate them in a family setting? And the dilemma was to them, if you want to build a warehouse, then you go and build it, but we are not going to put our money into that. And if they are not looking at it, and one of the things the lady told me was that most of the folks you are looking at, some of them are in their early teens, late teens, they were not part of the war. So that tells you that these are drug addicted kids.
Yeah.
Kids whose parents were using drugs and they pass it down to these kids. So it's basically like genetic. So these people are actually looking at the science and the data, and our people on the ground wasn't even looking at it from that perspective. So here we are. So the Fadiga man who's talking, I mean, it pains me to even look at him for somebody who say has some level of education to have not looked at the derivation of what this thing is and made it a political thing to say George Weah was transporting drugs and he was bringing the drugs, he was selling the drugs. Never talked about the drugs, the impact, and what it would do for our. They had no solution. So here we are now, the international community that wanted to fund before the cutting of funding. That was their idea. We want to do the holistic family therapy. They want to do in camping to create jobs, and now here we are.
Okay. So as we're still hopeful that that Representative Ability can join us, but in the meantime, we'll go on with our topics, and if the representative is able to join us, we'll definitely swing around back to this issue of the drug epidemic.
And Michael, let me close on this here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last week you saw the president of the University of Liberia. She spoke to something similar. She said the Liberian people want us to do a lot of work. She said our school buildings are leaking, it's molded, it needs total reconstruction all over. She says, and we gave the government a budget of $44 million, just the bare minimum to get started, and they gave us $33 million. So we are not even to the bare minimum. She said 90% of my budget is going to salaries. She said, and my budget mere that of the national budget, that 90% of the funding goes to pay salaries. So 10% of my budget cannot do what the Liberian people expect me to do unless we get a lot of money coming, because now she's going into this administration, into this new fiscal budget with almost $10 million in the hole. So if the national budget, 90% or a little more, is going to just cars and salaries and benefits and travel, what is it, $650 million, the total budget? In 90% of that, you got less than $100 million to serve the entire nation. So, like you said, our priorities are all screwed up, and I don't see any way out of this soon.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on to our next topic here, and it's gonna be pretty similar. Kind of rolling off that. What are our priorities? Quite recently, we saw the Ghanaian president basically lay out a new policy. Government officials, no more gas slip. You fuel your own vehicles. The Ghanaian government will no longer be providing fuel for officials, appointed officials, to ride around in their vehicles. Um, we're just talking about, you know, where misplaced priorities. Liberia is one of those places where we provide fuel, we provide vehicles, we provide fuel, we provide they got another name again for the servicing of it. They got a funny name that they give it, but all those things are added to it. Um, Nangbe, what do you? I mean, I think there's long overdue. Do you think it's even possible under the Liberian government?
I doubt whether it is possible under this government. And I'm really saying it from a good place. Look, first of all, I couldn't understand why it would be so difficult for this government um to to impose austerity measures on on the benefits that are given out to government workers, government employees. So if there was any legal complications, maybe legal, suits and all of that, then I think the president was presented with a golden opportunity when the U.S. government, placed a stop order by shutting down USAID and all other, international assistance, and they have been. I understand they fund about 3% of our budget, if I'm not mistaken, if not more. And so I thought that would have been a golden opportunity presented to the president to use it as justification, to really cut the fat that's in his government. I mean, the government, according to him, employs about 70,000 people.
Wow.
You know, salary and benefits about 88% of the budget. So you're working with what, 12% to do everything else. Now we're talking about the drug situation, all of that. But what do we see? The government, they did something. I mean, to their credit, I think back in February, they reduced, some of the gasoline. If you were getting 600 gallons, I think you're getting, I think 150 or 200 now or something like that. But I really thought that cuts could have been made to other places, like the protesters who were in the streets were proclaiming. Generator is being fed more money than human beings in Liberia.
Yep.
How much? What sense does that make to anybody? You know. So to answer your question directly, once that opportunity came, I don't want to say it has been missed. I think it is still there, but once it wasn't seized and utilized, to help in, all of these extra expenditures that are coming out of the government budget, I don't think this government is going to do so. I mean, I like to be optimistic, but I have to also be realistic. Given what has transpired and what is happening, I don't see the will, I don't see the intention, desire, the capacity to do anything about it. I'm sorry, but I'll pass it on to
Wow. Okay. All right. Mr. Eastman.
Yes.
Um, I mean, look, we have this way where we'll look, we'll see Ghana, the progress they have made, and we'll talk about it. But then the actual actions that they take to make that progress, then we shy away from it. I mean, what really are we doing here?
I thank you again, you guys. I'm glad you're picking these topics because to me, these are the things that matter for us. Um, and this an administration that compensates themselves without regard to your GDP or the gross national product in the country is a rogue administration. They are exploiting their own people because all around the world you cap salaries to a multiple of GDP per capita or the minimum wage. Why do they not do this? When if they wanted to be fair to the people they are leading, they would not allow their salaries to be sky high in the limit and take benefits like gas slips, like all kinds of allowances for housing, for generators, and at the same time don't have enough to even to put one school building in proper shape. Um, Other places, and it can be done. They what people do, they have independent salary commissions, but we see an unwillingness of our officials to turn this over to independent salary commission, so that we can have justifiably compensation for them and other officials of government. They refuse to do this. So we I think the message has to go to the people. If these guys will continue this lopsided compensation, then they should know that all they are all cheating us. They are cheating us because they're getting much more than they're supposed to get. If you just the other day, a doctor could barely make his payment for his housing, his rent.
Hmm.
A doctor who spends so much time, who's attending our sick and keeping people healthy, keeping people alive, can hardly afford a apartment. But you have a representative or a senator who's getting rich over from his salary. Um, there's something clinically wrong with this, and this is what I want to see protested. I want to see let's start with bring your salaries down to something measure. Don't take no benefits. If you're going to come to government, it should be a sacrificial effort. You don't bring anything much more than other professionals. Those people who get elected, what do they bring them more than engineers and doctors and teachers? They're not bringing anything. They're supposed to, but then the you see the policies that they make are not healthy. They are not in changing our situation, so they're not doing the work. So why are we paying them like this? This is what we need to be protesting against. Can you imagine? Up to one time, I heard that each one of them making $15,000 a month. Nowhere around in this zone that the people make $15,000 a month. How could they carry this thing out? And if you look at the history of it, when the Ellen government took over, we had assistance from donor nations,
Yeah.
and they wanted to bring people back to help reestablish the institutions and whatnot. So to bring those people back, they offer them salaries that will commensurate to where they were working abroad. That's how it started. Then the legislature said, "But wait a minute, these people can, these ministers, cabinet ministers, and whatnot can make 10,000, 20,000, whatever they were paying them a month. We need to make that much ourselves." That's when they jacked their own salaries up as well. But now we're in a different era now.
Yeah.
We have to get these people to be accountable to us. And we have to tell them the money you make should be pegged to the average salary of every civil servant in Liberia. If you want to make more, use your technique, expertise to generate more money. But this must not happen. And if they continue like this, we need to label them as what they are. This is criminal. This is criminal when you people can hardly afford something to eat and you making fabulous salaries and whatnot. It is criminal, and we need to call it that.
All right, Mr. Morris, let me come to you before I get to Mr. Gaiman. When people talk about you need to raise salaries of drug enforcement officers, the people say no money. But somehow they always find money for their salaries. Um, I mean, like, are they really serious here?
Well, thank you, Mr. Pablo. I have hope that the next budget year, the next fiscal budget year, we have raised our national budget to $1 billion, right? Because we have President Boyka and the Unity Party telling us that they can do it easily. So we have the likes of Double Jala LRA, the likes of Gafwan, very smart people. Hopefully now this will be their first budget, that is wholly and solely on them to raise and to finance. So I have the hope that they will significantly increase the budget, and maybe that will bring extra money in for things like drug rehabilitation, things like improving the school system and building new buildings and renovating. But I think really the reality is that we're a poor country, right? When somebody is rich, what does that entail? That means they have abundance. in resources. We don't have abundance in resources. We always look at the potential of our resources and the money we can get from it and declare ourselves rich. We're not rich. We're a very poor country. We're living. If a man is working and he spends 90% of his income on just rent, I mean, come on. What would the other 10% do to maintain his lifestyle, to eat, to buy clothes, to do other things, to get fuel for his car? It's impossible. We're already running in a deficit as a country, and we've been doing that for many years. We missed the opportunity to set strong financial grounds. Under Ellen Jones' salute, when we had a lot of money coming in the country, and President Boycott, one of the things that he should have learned was how to, is how to manage money, not to come at the president, but he's a poor money manager. He's a poor money manager, the legislature as well. They take all the money for themselves. They think that they're the most important people. They allocate all the budget to themselves. And then the things that we really need in the country, they're not doing anything. And in politics, if you want the people to vote for you, they have to see some tangibles. You're not delivering any intangibles because you don't have the money to do it. Everybody got a fat salary. We've been saying it and they're crying about it. And you have no money left over for things that the people actually and really want from you as a government. So I think to fight drug, the one thing they need to really do, they have to start from outside and come inside. You have to send more people out to the borders. Go to strategic points in the borders and keep people there. Build stations where you can have border patrol living there full time. Maybe you rotate every 3 months and have people there really working on those porous borders. And then at the port system, you have to crack down at that port. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of money sliding in hands, people taking money undercover at the airport itself. So you got to go to those points of entry and really crack down on it, while simultaneously putting money in the budget to try to rehabilitate these young people and these older people who are on drugs. It has to be a two-pronged, maybe a three-pronged approach on how to fight drugs. And our president, who went and took the drug test to symbolize that he's so serious about it, you have to find people. If there's no qualified person in the government who can really work on this drug system problem and use multiple systems to attack it, you have to find people maybe in the diaspora, other people who are really well versed in fighting drugs. Maybe you have to change your what a guy that uh, in charge of the borders, right? Border Patrol. Maybe you have to change that person. Put somebody there who really knows what they're doing. You have to change the people at LDEA, hire more professional people, maybe train them, send them overseas for professional training. Take all of those people that Kurman brought with him, every Kurman, and move them from there. You have to get a professional drug task force agency, not just the LDA, but a specific task force that's going to go into these different counties, into the hinterlands, and really go on missions and operations and know how you can stop it. Get some people who you can testify. Bring, in America we have these public trials where people go before Congress and really talk and expose some things there. We have to see a couple of those. Bring some people who are working with these drug dealers who maybe want to cooperate with the government. Make them public. Let them tell you who's bringing in some of the drugs. We have to get a couple of these big names. We have to bust down on some of these big guys who are working in government and also sponsoring drug trade in the country. So I think he got 5 more years of this. It's not the first year. You can't judge him entirely. But I think next year, if we can see a significant budget increase, and if the president can negotiate with the legislature to bring down the salaries or some of the money that they get for fuel and other things, and really cut down to show that he really wants to trim the budget so that you can allocate that money to more pressing issues like the drug fight and the education and rehabilitation of our school systems. I think that would be a great thing for this president. There's an opportunity, and if he takes it, it will pay a political dividend for him come 2028.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Let me go to Mr. Gaiman there. Mr. Gaiman, is
Yeah,
you know Joseph Boyka? Is
very
this an
well.
opportunity for Joseph Boyka, or are we going to see a major fumble here?
Uh, Joseph Boakai is a ceremonial president, and I know my friend Alio Camargo. He doesn't want to come on because he just can't stand it. He said it burns him when I'm talking. He thinks I'm talking ill of his boss or his uncle or his tribal man. But let's look at the numbers, right?
And I know he's watching right now, Jerome.
Oh, he texted me now. He said he been praying so they can kick me off the show. But but these are the numbers, right? We are talking about like the finance minister said, he's going to knock on heaven's door, right? To raise this thing to $1 billion. That's his goal. While he was saying that, the Speaker of the House is saying he wants to create 10 new positions for women in the legislature. You talking about bloating? They have not. It's like my father used to say the children were fighting over the goat head, right? Somebody say I like the goat. This one say so. When the old man came, we say, but what goat they fighting for? They say, but the goat that you were killed in Christmas. They in July. They talk about Christmas. That's what we are talking here. We have not even killed a cow yet. We have not even they say the $1 billion is a dream, right? We will knock on heaven's door to hopefully we can collect $1 billion in revenue. We have not even done that. And they are talking about allocating 10 new seats. And then when you look at what the president did, I think a couple of months ago, and continue to do, they are establishing more districts, statutory districts, cities. Wherever the districts are, you have district commissioners, you have officers. So they are using these statutes as basically an employment opportunity for partisans. So the budget, there will be no money, no matter how much they raise. But let me tell you what they have done. The budget is so tight that what they have done now is they are passing it down to the consumers. Let me read this. It's a Banga Bond County. That was 2 days ago. Liberians are lashing out at the government after it imposed mandatory fees on public health sector, accusing officials of deepening the hardship in the country. Under the new directive announced by the Ministry of Health on July 15th, sick people seeking care at any public facility will now have to pay $2,000 LD upfront for ambulance service. Upfront. $1,500 for birth certificates for teenagers and adults. $500 per night if you are in a hospital or in a clinic. This is what we are talking about. This is a policy that they passed in the dark. Did anybody talk to you about this? But that is what the health ministry passed, and it is right here. So here we are. They are passing the burden of this heavy budget, the heavy salary. They are passing it down to the least among us, the poor. And Michael, you and I talk about a woman that just had a baby on the street at the Redemption Hospital because of this. Can't afford upfront. Do you have money to pay for delivery? The woman is in labor. She's having baby. On the street, she had a baby. This is the government we have. Then when you talk, they say, you are harsh. But it is in right. This is their own policy. This is their own announcement. If you are dying, Michael, if you got to Liberia, you're dying, they will tell you, your ambulance service, before they pick you up, you have to pay upfront $2,000 Liberian dollar upfront. So how do we service our people with our people saying you're beating up on the government? This is not about government. This is about people. This is about us. I mean, Michael can afford it. You can afford it. I can afford it. But when you go 3 generations down the line, it's rough out there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Okay. So, gentlemen, what we're going to do is we'll move on to the next topic. And like I said, I'm still in communication there with Representative Bility. He's hoping to come on before we're done. And we're hoping we can bring him on. But what we won't do is that we won't hold up the show. So we'll go on to our next topic. And hopefully he can join us here shortly, okay? And so just now we're talking about just government priorities. Basically, that's what we're talking about, okay? Now, there was an interesting thing that happened yesterday. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday morning. Um, we started to get these. We started to get these videos from Kakata Highway. The whole highway was clear, and cars were parked on the side of the road. And then we started to get this feedback. And Douglas, coming to you that I'm sorry for not introducing you, sir. You're so silent. but
That's what
let me
happened when you come to.
this is
That's what
talking
happened.
that I'll come to you.
That's what happened when you come to class late.
um,
Oh,
uh,
that class here too. That class uploaded or reloaded.
no,
Which one?
these are college courses.
That's
These are
what,
college courses here. We don't do we don't do preparatory work here. But anyway, then we got word that this was happening because the president was preparing to travel up to Banga, to Bonkante, to dedicate another hand pump. Um, and these people were complaining. You were obstructing traffic. You were obstructing trade. People were bringing their goods down. People were trying to go back up. Most people, when they come, especially from Bonkante area, they come for a few hours and they go back. So if you impede the passage, for hours, they can't go back. Um, Mr. Nangwe, I don't know if you came across that video and that news. I mean, what's going on? The president get motorcade. You tell me there's no coordination. You just park people for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jerome mentioned something. Honestly, I didn't see the video, and so,
Mm,
but I heard about this from other people, and Jerome put a clip in there. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The president has advanced team. We all know that, and so they're in communication with each other, so they know when the president starts out. You can time his departure, and then you begin, to clear the traffic. But to hold the people for 3 hours, and I don't know, Mike. Why is the president going to Bonga to dedicate a hand pump anyway? You know, I mean, this is so minimalist. Is really mind boggling. The president, I mean, I honestly, I hope the details will come out tomorrow. We'll read about this somewhere. Some people say water tower, other people say hand pump. But we saw the same thing in Zozo, and what happened? I think a couple of months later, the thing stopped functioning. There was a big deal made of it here by the water and sewer, people. So I don't know. It's just really, I honestly don't have anything to say about this. Just to say, whoa, you know. You're gonna dedicate a hand pump from Monrovia to Banga, okay? I don't know. Now you got to put standing out to do what? Just to wave to the president? I mean, we are here. When the president of this country is moving, you don't even know.
you don't know.
No, you probably will be in the traffic and you see the something coming, then you pull over. You
Yep.
know, 5, 10 seconds tops, you get back on the road, you're moving.
Yes.
But I will pass it on. I just really have absolutely nothing to say.
All right. So, Mr. Dukley, I'll give you 2 minutes here. First, if you want, you can touch base on the drug epidemic, which was the first topic we missed. But then also, just on this whole, it, you see, for me, it's not even the parking of the people on the road. It's just being effective. Just doing things in an effective manner. If you cannot coordinate the president travel to be able to simultaneously, move traffic out of the way, how can you beat the drug epidemic?
Hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. This is it's a very serious phenomenon that we are dealing with, except that the national government is not dealing with it for the urgency with what it is. And, I just heard Elvis says, our country is poor, they don't have this, they don't have that.
Hmm.
I beg to differ on that. Liberia is not poor. Liberia is merely poorly managed, plain and simple. And if only they can curtail
50% of the waste that is in the Liberian national budget. I'm not saying all of it, just 50% of the waste that is in that budget. Uh, that 50% can go a long way. And you see, people look at drug the way they look at it only from the criminal side of things. But it is a social phenomenon. It is a social failure on both the national level and societal level. You see, look, um, here in the developed world, they do have drug rehabilitation centers. They have treatment centers where people can get help. They got places where if you got a mental health situation, you go and get help. Now, you know, I just had a painful experience myself some years back when I went to Liberia, and my auntie, who is suffering from mental health condition, I was told there was only one at the time. There was only one mental health specialist in Liberia. I think he or she was a Korean doctor or something like that. You know, so the necessary attention has not been given, and yet they are talking about this $1 billion budget. This is just an aspiration. Even if it's realized, it's not going to benefit the Liberian people because you saw how they ended up recasting the $800,000 budget that they came up with. So, Michael, the problem is not about raising that money. What are you going to do with the money? First of all, you have a budget that account for maybe between 60 to 70% for salaries only salaries. I mean, if you have that much money going to salaries, how much more money have you got left to deal with this serious problem that we are dealing with? So these people were, some of them were, child soldiers. Some of them were people who were victims of the war, lost their parents. They have no recall. They did not go to school. They were not rehabilitated. They were not put into places where they can do good for themselves. And now we are complaining about the drug phenomenon in Liberia. Look, this is a situation that we need to deal with from the source, from the very source of it. So what you see in the street is the outcome of that problem. Is the end result of the neglect, the social neglect, the lack of funding, the lack of availability of resources for these people. If you can just open a 6 week training program where these guys can go to detox and get some training in plumbing, in carpentry, you name it. So we have to deal with it for the seriousness of what it is. Michael. So the symbolism that we saw Joseph Bourget exhibited, that's all charade. It means absolutely nothing. If you want to tackle it, allocate budgetary allocation for it, and create an environment where these people can get help. And I'm even surprised that today, July 20th, 21st, we are talking about how the president's supposed to move around the country and they're holding up traffic for 3 hours. I mean, what part of the planet are we living on? It just goes to tell you how ineffective, how inept they are. I mean, why I mean, is it necessary that the president goes and does this dedication? If it's water and sewer, why can't the managing director of water and sewer go and do it? Whatever department it is under, why can't the manager of that department goes and dedicate whatever it is? Does it have to be the president? I mean, sometimes it just is mind boggling when you hear these things. Look, I remember when I lived in Egypt for 10 years. I can count by my finger how many times the head of state of that nation went abroad because because they were very careful about saving money because they were in a dire strait with the IMF, and they took measures that is going to yield positive result on the economy. I mean, why are the people in Liberia not talking about these things? You got a parliament that have this bloated salary for themselves, all
Yeah.
these pets, all the unnecessary benefits. These are money. It's the money that they are spending on themselves. And representatives have development budget. It's so. the development budget that is allocated to these people, what department, aren't there department that is responsible for these developments? But it's all, look, Elvis, I can tell you, Liberia is not poor. It's not poor at all. I would definitely not agree with the fact that Liberia is not poor. Liberia
Okay.
is just poorly managed. If you
All
cut down 50% of the waste, we can do something. And we saw other countries that have done some of the things that I'm talking about here. And we used to characterize Burkina Faso to be one of the poorest countries on the continent. Look at what they have done in 2 years.
Yeah.
Simply because they have a leader who is determined to let that country progress. And we are seeing the progress. Same thing goes for Niger. So you just need a leader who is willing to do the necessary thing to advance their country. We are not poor. We are
Okay.
not.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dugley. Mr. Gaiman.
Yes.
So not only is Boyka going to Bon County again for another one of more Ali handpumps, but he's shutting down the entire Kakata Highway. Now you have to understand, eh? If you are coming from Grand Jita, no, I take it back. If you are coming from Harper, that highway you can use to come on rail, no other highway right now open. That's how when you shut down that highway, that is how far you are shutting down for the president to go to Bon County. I mean, what's going on here, man?
If I knew, I would be playing the lotto. I would be a winner because I follow when someone sent me the clip. I follow for the entire. I follow about maybe an hour, hour and a half,
Hmm.
and they interview three gentlemen. One was a prominent journalist in the area,
Hmm.
and he said he had been waiting for a little over an hour. He said, but when he got there, he met people there already. So he called Monrovia. After an hour and a half, by that time, he called Monrovia to find out whether it is true the president was coming. And someone said, yeah, we are here by the rehab. They are just leaving.
Oh
Can you
wow,
imagine after an hour and a half, 2 hours, they were just leaving? So
wow,
they asked the journalist, the guy said, all the cars, he said he counted about 300 cars that were parked from where he came from all the way. Then they interviewed the other gentleman. He said, uh, I'm headed to my auntie. I'm headed to my auntie funeral. The funeral was scheduled for 10
wow.
o'clock.
Hmm.
And we were leaving a little early, so we said we can make it there. So we left 2 hours early. He said, but look where we are. The funeral
Wow.
is about to start. So you are talking about potpourri of different problems here, and then you're shutting down the economy. You got trucks with perishable goods, you got food going back and forth. Like you said, it's a major thoroughfare. And they
Yeah.
just no communication, nothing. Nobody say anything. The people are wondering. One of the gentlemen said, "I hope it's not a national security issue. We're getting
Hmm.
scared
Hmm.
because they have never said I was here for Taylor time. I never seen this
Hmm.
for the interim government. We never seen it. We never seen it on the LA. We never seen it on a we are yes." When the president is coming, they will come and they pull everybody off the street and they pass, and then you'll get back on the street. But never
Yeah.
could they told us to wait this long. So I don't know whether it's a dictatorship
Hmm.
or I don't know. I don't know what to say. Even taught me they didn't do this, so I don't know where they're taking us back. It is mind boggling. Hopefully, the information minister can make up something that is plausible that
Hmm.
people can believe. So say, maybe somebody else did it, we didn't do it, something like that. But I don't think anybody can fathom because I don't think you have seen it, you have
No,
not heard it, neither have I. So nobody have seen this before. This is strange.
I think the most traveled, excuse me, yeah, the most traveled president that I knew of was Samuel Canado. You know, but 10 seconds, 15 seconds the most. You'll see that advance car come past. Everybody will get from the road. Two motorcade will pass. Everybody
And
get
that's
down the road to go by the business. 15 seconds, 20 seconds the most. Even when he had foreign leaders, I remember when Bamagira came to town, when Nicolas Ceausescu from the Soviet era came, all these people came to visit Liberia during Samuel Dotan. They never shut down the entire road like that. Mr. Eastman,
Yeah.
Most of the women, look, let me, nobody that buy potato green in the evening. You know? Yeah, seriously. People bring their potato green early in the morning to sell it. You know? Nobody can buy. I mean, then you stop the people from bringing their potato green, from bringing their flour saw, and because the president coming, and then the president can't come. 3 4 hours.
Yeah. You know, Mike, this is incompetence, inefficiency dressed up as presidential protocol. They very well knew the president was going to be traveling on this road. According to presidential protocol, you're supposed to map the route, pre-inspect it, and determine alternate routes, knowing very well that this is a main artery to Monrovia.
Mhm.
It would have appeared to anybody it would be nonsensical to block off this road for hours and hours at a time. The EPS, whoever came up with the idea to do it, is inefficient. And then when people talk about it, they will say no, but the presidential protocol priority is supposed to be priority. It was supposed to be prioritized. His safety is paramount. No, but who said his safety is not paramount? I
Mhm.
agree totally. The problem is you're not doing it the right way.
Mhm.
Yes, there are different ways of going about it. They could have diverted a lot of that traffic. A lot of things that in the view the journalists was saying, they could have diverted that traffic. They could
Yeah.
have taken alternate routes had they informed the public before time. They could have done that, but no, they didn't do it. So now they have blocked off the road and say, "Yeah, we did our job." No, you did not do your job because you shut down Monrovia unnecessarily, okay? And the president could have gone and come back just as much, just as safely without having to shut down the artery. But we do things and we can't admit that there are better ways of doing it. There should have been a review of this. When you make a mistake like this, there should be a review. You go there and say, what did we do wrong here? How can we do it better next time? And that's how you improve. All of us can make mistakes, every one of us. But the idea is, what do you do to change your awareness, to be able to perform better? Okay? And that
Mhm.
is what is lacking. Okay? That shouldn't happen. And just what you're saying. I mean, I used to be in Israel. And when I was in Israel, Joey said, you will not even know the president is passing. You see, we make big show out of it, but they do the opposite. They are very indiscreet. They don't want to bring attention to the motorcade because that's when how people will know. But don't worry, if you're driving along with that motorcade, you will never be able to get anywhere close to it. But at the same time, there are no sirens, nothing going on. So there are better ways of doing this, and we need to look into it so we can do it better. It didn't require shutting down the whole highway for that length of time. It was
Okay.
inefficient.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have one last topic here. Um, but I mean, we're discussing this, and you're talking about people making corrections. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures. The president now buy a motorbike. The motorcade is not big enough. He has purchased motorbike to add to the motorcade. Ah, yeah, that probably, yeah.
I wanted to touch on the topic. I don't know if you're going to skip over me before you go to the next topic.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. You saw the pictures. The puppet and buy motorcade,
That
motorbike. Yeah.
that was the point I wanted to make because you have the president wants a first world motorcade on third world roads, and I think the person that was blaming this thing is Sam Gay, the director of the EPS, because I think he's doing too much. As we were saying in America, he's doing too much. People try to validate their jobs by trying to go overboard with the president, trying to act like you want to protect him to the extreme. We see that with people who are, doing things like preparing the president for the yellow machine. They're going overboard, going above their station to try to impress the president. And I think it is wrong when people can't do the job the most efficient way and the most covert way, like Mr. Eastman was saying, to protect the president. Then you're already feeling because if somebody that know the president coming 2 hours in advance. If somebody, God forbid, wanted to attack the president, they got 2 hours to plan before the president even come by then. So I think, yeah, they're putting the president in more danger. Why do you need motorbikes? Why do you want to be like the president of France or the president of Germany when you live in a third world country? All of those things cost money. They're only going to congest the roads. And one of the things I would take the blame away from the president, right? We have two lane roads. We don't have multiple lane roads, like 8 lanes, where you can have 3 lanes for traffic and 1 lane for the president to go down. And that way you can keep traffic flowing while the president is moving. If the president's coming, it's one way going, one way coming. You got to shut the entire road down. So I think what's going on here is just a symptom of what our poor role, of management in the country. But lastly, to you, Mr. Duque, look, being rich and being poor is a state of being. It's not about potentiality, right? If a man is poor, that means he has, a deficiency in resources. If a man is rich, he has an abundance in resources, right? So right now, as it stands, we have a deficiency in resources. There's no two ways about it. We can be rich in the future if we manage well, but right now we're poor. A man could trade in stocks in 10 years' time. He can reap his benefit and get his dividends. But until he gets that money, he's probably living paycheck to paycheck. So right now we're a poor country. You can say it's fully managed, fine. But the reality is, even if you take our entire national budget and try to allocate it for different places in education and health and other things, it's still not going to be sufficient for a country of our size to really bring up to par of where we want to be. So the reality is, we're a poor nation. We are ranked the eighth poorest nation in the entire world, not by chance, but because they did the metric and they realized that we're poor. We just have to get over that fact. We can become rich, but right now we're
Okay.
poor. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you
I
so
see
much.
the
So
chairman in the
what
background.
we're gonna do is we're
Right,
gonna
just five seconds, right?
yeah.
Let me just say that from personal and everything, I'm agreeing with everything Elvis, Jimmy, other. But I can tell you, I've seen the president twice. Okay, I'll leave it there. Our guest is here.
Let me give me chair with the chairman, please. Mr. Chairman Emeritus, how are you this Sunday? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Good evening to
Great, great.
everybody on the line.
I know you have a short time here, so we'll try and do the best we can to work with what we have.
Yes,
What I'll do is I'll give you the opportunity first, and then afterwards, then I will have everybody ask you one question, and then you can wrap up after that. How does that sound?
perfect.
Okay, all right. So we started this program talking about the drug epidemic in Liberia. I know you have a personal approach to this. I just wanted you to really talk to the Liberian people right now and talk to our audience, about your personal experience, your personal approach, and what is your thinking concerning this in Liberia today.
Uh, I think it's much more than the ordinary politician can appreciate.
Hmm.
Uh, unless and it's becoming so endemic that maybe one in every 10 family probably has a drug issue right now in our country. Also, personally for me, it's been tough for the last 3 years. Um, but I also see that as an opportunity to do what I can do. Uh, for instance, my son was caught with drugs. I refused to do anything outside the law. I refused to use whatever influence, and today he's in jail. Going through the consequences of his action. But the real culprits are out there. They are in the Mercedes. They are in the flashy building houses. Their families are, you know, some of their children don't even know what is a drug. They come, they give it to our children, and they affect their life. Um, Again, it's a government failure, I have to say. drug comes only through the border, mostly through the airport. If the government and the government law enforcement are not part of the drug thing, there will be no drug. The reason why we have drug is a systematic failure of our government. And the more the government fails, the more we're gonna face the drug issue. Today we have a one government. I'm sorry to say,
Hmm.
but the government is no longer. For instance, the legislature has lost the capacity to check the rest of the branches of the government. So we have a one branch system. Whatever President Barker wants, that's what he gets. No check on him. As you can see, from October last year up to today, there have been zero check on any action of the executive. It's going to be that way for the next 3, 4 years. Um, Unfortunately, that is not going to help because by now you could have a special hearing, public hearing on the drug. You could have special. We have all of the laws on the book. Why is not being enforced? The DEA, is clearly unfit to deal with our drug issue, either because it doesn't have support or the personnel there have issue or a combination of both. So we what I'm afraid of is that as a country, most of us, maybe up to 75% of the population,
Hmm.
don't seem to see the danger drug poses on our society. When you have a situation where you have almost 500,000 of your citizens infected with something that is very serious,
Yes.
and if we want to do anything, I think the first step should be for the president to declare a national emergency on drug. And once he does that, it should reflect on how much money. Most of us we're over 50. Most of the people in it that are being affected by this drug are under 30. Our future is clearly in danger. And to think that our children are safe is not true. Your children are not safe. I provided everything for my son. Okay, he went to school in the United States. He went to the same college I went to in Denver. Okay, it didn't spare him. So if you think that because your family is in comfort and it's not going to reach you, it's not true. So if we don't deal with it now, believe me, this is not about the poor market women. This is not about. This is about all of us. It's going to hit you, and it'll hit you when you don't expect it, and it hit you where you don't expect it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Ability. I'll give my panelists there opportunity to ask questions. I'll start with Mr. Dukley. You can go and ask the representative a question.
Thank you, Michael. I want to also say thank you, Mr. Ability. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I think I'm with you when you say this whole thing has uh, the potential to affect everybody. But before I can answer my question, I just want to make this comment. And I thought the comment was very, very, when I heard this thing, I was very shocked. I was talking to a friend who does import, like he sends vehicles to Liberia, and we're having a conversation. And he said to me, "Oh, sometimes I will send 2 cars, 3 cars. They don't have a scanner at the seaport to determine how many cars are in a container. So whatever I tell them, whatever documentation I give them, that's what they accept, and they clear my container based on that." And that kind of raised a serious concern to me when he said that. So what happens if somebody is coming in and the container is full of drugs, and all these narcotics,
Hmm.
and it's clear based on something that is declared that it is not the content of the container. So you, on your part, as somebody who has suffered the outcome of this drug phenomenon in Liberia,
Hmm.
as the legislature, What do you plan to do in your if you want to call it in your limited capacity to bring this phenomena to the attention of your colleagues in the House of Representatives?
Okay.
Um, uh, First, let me say that there's enough law on the book. There's no more lawmaking required. I guess we still have oversight responsibility, which we have miserably failed. I really, really hate to sound this way, but we don't have a legislature anymore. We do not have a legislature that, I mean, every when I was sitting down and I was looking at the opposition, and I want to very specifically mention the CDC, and they allow the speaker position to go away. I don't think they had idea, and we try to tell them of what we were losing as a country, as a government, and as the opposition. We've lost absolute control of the government. We have no more say. The current legislature does not have the capacity to hold any branch of government. My brother, they depend on these people to terrorize us. They depend on the police to do everything that they did. They depend on the Ministry of Finance to do whatever they did with the Liberian people money. They depend on everybody. So they owe everybody. They cannot say anything. I mean, I'm really, really sorry. But the Liberian people, we have brought onto ourselves something that we could have avoided. And that's why, I'm upset when I hear people talking about rally. That was a cause. That was a cause. A democratic system was being overthrown. That was the cause to stand up and say this cannot happen. You know, when you begin to uh, put that aside because you have differences or because you don't agree with Fonati Kofa or because some people think Fonati want to be president or different issues, funny issue. Now our country, our democracy, for which the Liberian people suffer, went to the pool, elected us, and decided that they would make Joseph Boaga president, but they also decided in that election that his party would not be in control of the legislature. That decision of the Liberian people that were made in October has been thwarted in a coup. And so super oversight, it's not possible. You see us in the house there, we just there now, just crying for nothing. There's nothing we can do. All we can do now, we look at a long road to 2029, where we take all of these to the Liberian people and say, if you want to continue this, then vote the people in. But unfortunately, my brother, I really, really wish I had an answer, but I don't. Because what is left is to call the DEA to tell her what is wrong. Is to call the RIA to tell her why so many drugs are coming through our airport. Is to call the NPS and the LRA and all these people. We can't do that anymore. We've abdicated all of that. I'm not saying it because I'm in opposition. Please check the record. When last, since October until this year, did any government ministry or agencies face any serious scrutiny in the house? Zero.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Ability. Mr. Eastman,
Yeah.
what question do you have for the Honorable?
Right. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Glad to
Wa
have you.
alaikum salam. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. You know, your candidacy offers a unique opportunity for Liberia. As we know, Liberia is deeply divided along historic, political, and ethnic lines. What is your plan to reconcile and bring Liberian people together so these lines are blurred and we can be a more homogenous group working toward the same purpose. What's your plan to do that?
My plan is practical. I use my life as an example. I'm a Muslim. I have Christian education. I went to mission school that was totally Christian. I even participated in choir. I got married 28 years ago to a Christian. She's still a Christian. Um, Everything that I do in my life have no religion undertone. 98% of the people who work in my company, and I have more than 300 people that work in my company, universally. 98% are non-Muslim. I I was elected by a population where 95% are non-Muslim. Okay, those examples are the things that I want to carry. But beyond that, I also want to look at our economic government. If you dress down the Liberian budget, over 50% of the budget are unnecessary spending. Turbo time. Yeah, I was with a local representative in the state of Rhode Island. He says to me, "We have our own vehicle. We pay for it. Under our government, no government official, including legislature, will buy a car. You buy it for yourself. We will save over 150 million United States dollar by stopping coupon, by stopping all the funny expenditure and benefits, by stopping vehicle, and you put that straight into education. That will give you free education. Our minds are being literally taken away. Li- I mean, when I say free, we are giving the mind to the mining company free. We'll stop that. We'll get our percentage of the mine and tell them when you take it out of the ground and you're carrying it out of our country, give our share of the money. What you do with it is now a business. Whether you make profit, you not make profit, it's now a business. When you take the raw material, the one that you take out of our country, we weight the equipment that weigh it and put it. So we are able to move Liberia budget from 800,000 to 1.5 billion just by doing the right thing. 90% of the houses in our country don't pay tax because our real estate tax regime is stupid. Make it easy, make it simple so that the lowest person can pay maybe $25 and people pay $50. People, you have over 10,000 shops in Liberia. They can't pay tax because it's complicated, it doesn't make sense, and they will bribe the tax officer. Make it easy, make it simple. So for me, in terms of unifying our country, try to take care of the people need. Make yourself an example. As a Muslim, I've never imposed my religion. Beside myself, everybody else that is around me is a non-Muslim. I I've never seen religion as a boundary, and it's my life. So it's not like because now I'm in politics, I want to do that. If you go back into my life in 30 to 40 years, you will see the consistency. My best friends that I went to school with were Christian. We lived together, we went to farm together, we went to school together. They were all Christian. I didn't see religion then, I don't see it now. My wife, I've been married to her for 28 years. I've never been able to convince her. Some of my children are Christian. Her children that we have are Christian. I'm not doing that for politics. Those are facts because that's how I live. My brother, if that is not enough to convince people to say, I will do things differently. I will try to look for what is enough, but so far I don't have that. If we are not in the position to manage our life without putting our religion in the middle, the visionaries of this country, the people who put this country together, were very clear that the church and the state must be separated. I think we should continue that. So that's just a synopsis of how I see unification. But we have a bigger problem. We have economic mismanagement. We have state, I mean, literal state capture. The legislature is stealing, I mean, robbing the Liberian people. That will stop. It has not been audited since 1979. That will stop. Uh, and we know and we are aware that those are the reason why we have been black to hold any leadership position in the legislature. But that's okay. We'll take the other route. And we'll continue to push for change.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Elvis, Mr. Elvis Morris, do you have a question for honorability?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Pamela. And hello to you, Representative Billiter. I had a
Thank you,
question for
sir.
you. Yeah, I had a question for you. But it probably be multifaceted. But are you still on your committee assignment that you had on the KUFA? And if so, I think it was on security, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have been more better serve the country on maybe a commerce committee where you're a debt businessman, you know how to balance books. Maybe you can hold, help our commerce industry in the country. And then lastly, are you telling us that you guys are sitting duck, that you have no effective power and you can't hold this government feet to the fire? And now that you're in a minority, you're just going to be there for the next 3 or so years until we have midterms. Is that what you're telling the Liberian people, that you can't do anything for them to fight on their behalf?
Number one, uh, you know, I'm not on the National Security Committee. We're still looking at the legitimacy of that decision, and at some point in time, but as of now, I'm not on it. I'm not on the Commerce Committee. I have not been informed of which committee I'm on, but I know as a matter of fact that I'm not on any of those committees. And on your second question, yes, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that we are sitting duck. I'm telling you also to tell Liberian people that we spent 7 months telling everybody, including you guys on this show, that there was a coup going on that is going to affect our democracy. Nobody listened to us. There were point in time where, look, to have an opposition speaker, that was the design of the Liberian people. They elected Joseph Boga to be in the executive mansion, and they said the people will put in the cabinet building to run the place will not be you. For the record, and go and check NEC, United Party has only 11 representatives, and they have all 73 seats filled. They won only 11. They use state resources and destroy our democracy. But the country was watching. Some were celebrating, some were saying nothing. Now, they have cajoled the majority, suppressed some of them, threatened some of them in their district, and so they've all capitulated, and now they have the majority. So they have the legal instrument in their hand, which they acquire through armed robbery, through stealing, and through everything that you can think about, vandalism, lawlessness, and now they are in power. So yes, that's what I'm telling the Labrador people. We are toothless bulldogs. So the next time you see it happening, so when people are saying now let's go and rally, that was a bigger cause for rally. Our democracy was threatened, and we stood and fought for 7 months. Nobody in this country thought that it was necessary to preserve our democracy. Now that it's gone, and now that we can't even go to court because they are in majority, what should I do now? I don't want to be a street side bomber. I'm gonna attack a bomb on myself and go there for it to explode. Because the only thing that left now.
No, don't do that, please. Please. Okay,
So,
Honorable. So we you promised her 20 minutes. You are at the 20 minutes. There are
yeah,
two
I'll
other
take the rest of the question from the other guys so that
the
everybody
other
can
people
have.
that are CNC people, man, you want to hear from them?
Oh,
You You want to hear from there?
Oh,
Oh,
no
what I
problem.
want to do, I want to give you an opportunity to let people to wrap things up. Let them people them waiting.
Okay, no problem. Yes, thank you guys. We are facing a very difficult challenge in our country. 20 years of CDC and United Party, it has given us the opportunity as Liberians to look the other way. There's absolutely no race in looking the other way right now. There is serious risk in going back to people that you have tried and have failed you. That's what the risk is. Liberians should consider something other institution. It is ironic. Both the United Party and the CDC got to power without presenting one manifesto. Their leaders never cared to even have a press conference. It's almost 18 months. Joseph Baga has never had a press conference. He doesn't care. He has no intention to do it. He doesn't even feel a sense of obligation. 6 years, George Weah did not do the same thing. So my plea to Liberian people, please just do this for yourself. Try something else. I mean, you've tried these people. You've given them everything. You have no reason, unless you are enjoying the life you are living right now, unless you live a better life. But 20 years and you entire country, even in infrastructure, you can't see anything. Every major development you see in Liberia today, that World Bank or ADB. So I hope all of us, our senses of patriotism can take hold of us, and we rise beyond the partisanship and try to think about a Liberia other than what we have right now. Honestly speaking. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And that was Honorable Musa Hassan Bilete, a representative district number 7, Nima County. Also, what is your position in CMC? Because you now you just flow member, eh?
Who, me?
Yeah. Well, we won't give you an official title. Okay, okay. One of the
Victor,
founders.
Victor will tell you. Victor will tell you.
Okay. One of the founders
He
of the.
already knows you don't mind, Mike.
Yeah.
He
Victor
poking
will
the
tell
he
you.
poking the he poking the bear.
Yeah, Lee,
Exactly.
Lee, Lee. I will not answer you.
Okay,
Victor will
no
answer you.
problem, no problem. But thank you so much for joining us. We know you have a
You're
very
welcome.
busy schedule, but thank you for making the time for us and for our audience.
Yes,
We'll keep
sir.
in contact. Will you be in Liberia August 7th?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm leaving tomorrow, so I'll
okay,
be back. I'll be back on Tuesday.
okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Are
Okay.
you going to be in Nova Scotia?
What?
Are you going to be in Nova Scotia
What's
next
that?
month
Canada,
for the
Canada.
for the for the CMC
Yes,
gathering?
yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'll be there.
Yeah,
Douglas, there you go. Save all your questions for them. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
then thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you
yeah.
for
Thank you,
I'll
joining
sir.
us.
grace the
We
occasion
appreciate it.
too.
Okay.
All right, people. So there you have it. That was the Honorable Musa Hassan Bilete joining us here for a few minutes, just to just give his personal experience on the drug epidemic in Liberia, and just kind of prove to everybody there's nobody that's untouched with this.
Yeah.
Um, and we really need to do something about it, indeed. So I will give you guys time is fast spent. I'll give you guys a few minutes to go ahead and do your closings. Let's say everybody, I'm surrounded by everybody. I'll start with you, Mr. Dukley.
Ah,
You are good.
well, thank you very much, Mr. Podmore, and thank you to my fellow panelists. I think it was a good debate today. The program was good. I think I was personally moved and touched by Musa's presentation here this evening. Despite all what he has done, despite all what he has, he is not immune from uh, this endemic of drugs that we have in our country. And so imagine. I mean, I just want for a second for us to put this into context. This is somebody who can afford all what he needs, and yet he's having to deal with this deadly phenomenon here. So just look at the other people that can't even afford 3 square meal a day, and they have a child, a son, a daughter who have this addiction. And I think each and every one of us on this panel can identify with a family or two that has someone who is dealing with this drug problem. So it is a serious problem, and I think in our spaces that we've got, I think we should pay uh, some serious attention to this and highlight it and talk about it the best we can, because I think it is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. And as much as I don't have any faith in a unity party government, but that's not going to be a reason that I would stop talking about this. So I think we should talk about this as much as we can and highlight it as much as we can and try to deal with every angle of it, every aspect of this, the social part of it, the legal part of it, the criminal part of it. We need to talk about it and keep talking about it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Dukley, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Mr. Morris, go ahead and give your closing for us, please.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Padmore. Look, if I have more chance, I wanted to ask him why. I think he was one of the wise owls in the ears of former Speaker Kofa. Why did he capitulate by resigning? When he resigned, because he's complaining that the CDC kind of gave up. He was one of the advisors to Kofa, so why didn't he tell him to stay in there? Because the country already needed him to be a voice of reason for them, and now he and the entire government over to the presidency. But I didn't have a chance, and I didn't want to go over there a lot. One question, but look, thank you for having me on. I think the reality is that CMC coming into the fray. That's why you see, even though I'm not an official member of the CDC, I sympathize with them. But I'm a bit apprehensive and skeptical of the CMC because we know how Liberia is. We know that in order to win elections in that country, regardless of how we feel about it, you need a strong base. We just don't see the base for the CMC. We know that they have some competent people that join the team, like Mr. Gaiman, Mr. Number, Madam Grizz, and some other folks who are smart people. But where is the tangible base that we can see to say these guys are going to be formidable? It reeks of Communist 2.0, and maybe even to a lesser extent. So we want Mr. Ability to do some of the things that he says and he's advocating for, but now he's telling us he has no power to do anything. And maybe that's not his fault. But the reality is that's the reality of our country. If the presidency stifles you, you become a lame duck, can't do anything, you'll sit down there for years collecting paychecks and just talking and not really being able to, able to do anything for the Liberian people. So maybe come 2020, I don't know what the next election, maybe 2026 or 2027 for the by-election, maybe he can show his strength, and maybe someone else will be convinced that they can have a good showing, and maybe with his resources and his planning and organization, if they can get at least five or so candidates that can win elections, then maybe we'll know that they're a bona fide political party, and maybe someone else will consider supporting them come 2029. But until then, we reserve our judgment and we hold on to our skepticism. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. There's no elections until 2029.
For
Um,
everything, no by-election, nothing.
2029 will be a very huge election because we'll be electing 15 senators that got elected 2020. That 2020 election where Yombly Kanga King in Jonathan Subway, Jaros Delon, that's gonna be 2029. That's the next senatorial election, along with the presidential election, along with the 73 lawmakers. That is if Speaker Kun doesn't make it, 83 lawmakers. That will be a very huge election. Mr. Eastman, please your
Yeah,
closing, sir.
yeah. I think Chairman Billington mentioned something very, very pertinent. The fact that now our legislature is nothing but a rubber stamp to the executive because it is there's not no check and balances right now. You see, the legislature offered checks and balances against the executive, and with this coup that happened, we have that has been removed. Now, so what we'll see is a decline in accountability. You know, so because now everybody will want, so say one, so say all. We tend to drift back to the very same thing we decried about the 2 week party, but we see it happening again and again all the time. Okay, what we will see with this is increased risk of authoritarianism, where the ruling party will have the power to do anything. They can even change the constitution if they wanted to, you know. And it also results in poor policy making because you have groupthink. Laws may be passed without the adequate research that is required, and it's all of them together, so they would just say, "Yeah, groupthink." Nobody thinking out of the box and weighing the consequences of the decision. And also, there is a higher corruption risk by this being like that. If we were balanced, the right hand wants to see what the left hand doing. You will not. The people may be less inclined to go into backdoor deals. And you heard what the chairman said. We're being ripped off. And we see it ripped off just in the salary appropriation. We see that rip off. What else is happening backdoor? And they're laughing. You know, there are other concerns about international concerns. I don't know how people view us. We we keep on missing the boat. I rather hear Mr. Nangbe talk, because Mr. Nangbe was one of those progressive elements. This thing is not progressive. What we see it going on is not progressive. The people are afraid of balance, check and balance. Why are they afraid of check and balance? But anyway, I will stop there before I got.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Nangwe.
Yeah, my brother Jimmy here. I don't know what you want me to tell him, but I think we all agree here that I think it was on the show someone quoted Dr. Dunn and said, change the guard, and then guard it changed, something like that. I don't remember,
Hmm.
but I think what we're seeing here is, we're all advocating in the space. Look, before I continue, let me send my heart out to Honorable Ability and his son Peach, and the rest of the family. I wish them all the best. What they're going through is every parent's nightmare, and the fact that he's allowing the Lord to take his course and all of that. I respect him for that. He could have used his influence, but he's chosen not to. So my heart goes out to him and the rest of all Liberians who are experiencing, what they are experiencing right now. According to the UN, Honorable Biden said around 500,000, but the UN is saying over 1 million of our compatriots, are suffering this scourge. It's very unfortunate. We hope the government wake up. But he's right also. A lot of us here, we came here and said what was happening in the House of Legislature was untenable. It was uncalled for. It shouldn't have happened. But he's right. Maybe we should have gotten in the streets and actually pulled a protest on this. We didn't do that. And the court came in and tried to help guide us, and still the executive came in and torpedoed everything. And now he's right. We have a one-party government, so to speak. They're passing bills now in the House. They have the numbers. They don't need support from anybody else. Some of the legislators don't even know the bills are being passed, but they have the numbers and they can do that. And unfortunately, this is what's going to happen for the next until we get to 2029. So, but I hope he doesn't throw his hands up. I hope somehow, some way, we'll find a way. I'm happy the president vetoed the port bill. Hopefully, to give us time. I hope this kind of thing will begin to happen more you know. But to come back to the question Jimmy was asking, yes, I mean, look, the first struggle was to help to pluralize the space,
Yes.
democratize our political participation. I think we're doing that now. We've had maybe 3 or 4 elections in a row, without any kind of, you know, violence, predominantly free and fair.
Yeah.
Presidents have conceded. A sitting president has conceded, even while the votes were being counted. And now, we're allowing protests to also take place, almost without incident. I think it speaks to how far we've come to observe the democratic tenets, that we all have been fighting for. I think what Jimmy is asking is where I think we need to go now, sensitization, to help our people so that we discover our voices. Our voices are powerful because we are the one who collectively elect these people. And we have the franchise. Yeah, we can disenfranchise them by not electing them. Pay attention to election season, and the campaign season is coming around soon. Pay attention. Pay attention to the issues. Forget the personality. Forget about who brings the flashiest car. Forget about who brings the best looking t-shirt and all that stuff. Pay attention to the issue and who is really telling you how they will do it and whether they have the capacity to do that. We need to help our people discern these kind of things. It's a whole lot of what we can do, Jimmy, together. But you're right. What we're witnessing is not what we advocated for. Absolutely not. Yes, we have a multiplicity of political parties now, but yeah, multi-party and multiplicity is two different things. We now need to guard the space so that our people can begin to choose wisely. I think that should be the next frontier. But
All
thank you
right.
very
Thank
much
you
for the
so
floor.
much.
Yeah.
All right. And then I will. Oh, the man run away. Man, where you at, Mr. Gayman? Did you want to close or not? Hey,
Oh,
all right, Chief.
I thought it was number that ran away.
And I say yes, CMC people
Oh,
should
that
not
you,
talk on the show.
Yeah, y'all got something against.
Mr. Nangwe, please, could you give us the official title for
Oh,
our
Are
relative
you
all
the
right. Let me
political leader?
party?
let me do it 5 seconds, and Jerome can help me out.
Political leader, right?
Honorable Musa Ability is a political leader. The party, during the formation of the party came into being about March of this year.
Okay.
During that time, the organizing committee elected a political leader. We don't have a stand-up barrier. That
Okay.
will happen during the Congress. The
Yes.
party has not even been officially launched.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
election. You have
Yeah,
to stand up there.
So now he's known as the political leader.
Yeah.
he's the political leader, correct.
All right. Okay. All right. It's always good to give people the rightful titles. Mr. Gayman, you want to go?
Anytime, Mike, I was saying the application form, you can look over it too.
Do you
Yes.
guys have honorary memos?
No. You
Not yet.
Oh,
you eat,
again.
no. You
I'm
either
a member
eat
of
or
the ANC.
you
Yeah,
either
I'm not
eat or
part
you
of the league.
out. You
Huh?
either eat or you out. You can't you
When
can't
that dictatorship?
You
yeah,
can't
you
eat swear,
Yeah,
you
can't
that's
swear.
spy.
dictatorship.
You can't go
I'm
spy.
speaking of Mr. Nangwe, please. I'm speaking of Mr. Nangwe. I'm not talking to you. Mr.
Good,
Nangwe, can you
good,
find
Michael,
good
all?
job, Mr. Nangwe.
Can
Michael,
you find all?
Jeru is my boss man in terms of hierarchy. So
I'm
you can
speaking.
talk to
I'm
him.
speaking to you. I'm not speaking to that man. Okay. Can you find all if there is such a thing in the
Okay,
organization?
I'm sure there isn't, but I'll look through the Constitution. I'll send you a copy of
Okay.
the Constitution as well.
I
All
got
right. Thank you
I,
so
I
much.
got it
Why
I
you
got
talking
it right
about it?
here.
Oh, we now
There
will
you
see
go.
it. We
I
now
got
will
it right
see
I
it.
got it right here.
There you go.
You
Very, very
either
good
you
try,
either
though.
you either eat or you out, but you can't spy.
What's that? You don't want my money?
Uh, uh,
You ain't want my money?
no, we'll take your money.
See, ain't see that. Ain't see that. Ain't see
Well,
that.
guys, listen. Uh, Elvis, I think you struck a point, and I think the political leaders listening. We cannot have the big titles and sit in these United States and think we're going to win elections on the ground. That's why we have to actually get to work. And what you are saying there is exactly what we've been talking about. We have to put in the work. You can't win an election in cyberspace.
Right.
We have to go, Victor, myself, the ladies, we have to go on the ground and join forces there and make this thing work. Anybody who think you can win this thing by being on the air, well, how many people have data in Riverside or in Wacom Chile and all that to see us here every day? You have to be on the ground to make the case. And we are dedicated to that. I think my commitment to CMC is when I started criticizing Musa ability, I told him, I said, honorability, we are not going to make the party about you. We are not going to make this thing about individual. We know that now we don't have any means of finances and all that. But that's why they brought some of us in who have ideas about how to bring finances, how to raise funds, how to do other things that the party will survive beyond these folks. For example, I will have. This is my United Way training. I'm putting my hat on. I will have Honorable Musa ability to sign CMC into his will. If he passes, like I do, my church is in my will. If I pass, 5% of my life insurance go to my church for endowment. If Musa ability loves CMC and he wants CMC to live after him, 10% of your estate goes to the party. And then we'll ask everybody else to do the same so that when something happens, the party lives after him. This is not what other people do. So when I bring my expertise to these organizations, and I'm very, very firm on some of the things that I do, he listens. I brought a plethora of ideas that I got from all the political things I have done around the world to the CDC. But they are not the listening type, and for some reason, it is not what they are interested in. They say we have our own system on the ground, and look where it led them.
But you can see that here, Jerome. Everett doesn't listen. Everett, that was a joke. Don't come back at me. Don't even try.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. We've had enough of CMC
Thank you
today.
very much. We've been here a little while.
Yes, for two
Thank
and a
you
half
very much,
hours.
guys. Great
It
show.
was great.
Let's do this again Sunday, same time.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
and before we go, we have if anybody wants to do, if you call a friend or a guest, and the guest say I want to do one-on-one, we have that opportunity too.
Yes.
If you don't want to do on Sunday, we have focus on like something called between the headlines. Anytime you can have an hour to interview your guests. So if you have a guest listen, I don't feel comfortable talking to Michael on our show and all your he too radical. He said, okay, we can do it one-on-one. It's all about growing our network, growing the platform.
Most of my guests, when I want to talk to Michael, I can tell you that for sure.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Thank to our audience for hanging with us for 2.5 hours. We had a very, very riveting show today. We started off with the interview with the former Deputy Director of Operations for the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency. He gave us a first-hand, eye-opening view of the epidemic of the drugs in Liberia. And then we also talked to Honorable Hassan Musa Bilete, District number 7 representative for Nima County. He gave us his personal story and really personalized this drug issue for us. And of course, my panelists here that hung with me, Mr. Isma, Mr. Morris, Mr. Dukle, Mr. Nangwe, and of course, my co-host here, Mr. Game. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next Sunday. Until then, please let us remain all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.